Yo, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the 9th episode of the SOUNDPROOF podcast with myself, Tom Wilson. We've got Jonth here as always, and then today we're lucky to have Sam on the podcast, better known as Malarkey / Bad Cult, one or the other. But you probably know him better as Malarkey. How's it going, dude?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, man. I mean, it's funny. I think maybe a few years ago you wouldn't have known me better as Malarkey, but like this past year, maybe you do. It's funny.
Yeah, you've been popping off, man. You've been like, I've been seeing you on my feed like all over now because of like all the hexagon stuff and all that. I even remember back when you signed the publishing. I don't know what it is, but you keep showing up on my feed on like Facebook and all that. It's really good to see that you're making moves, bro.
Thank you, man. I mean, it's just been ridiculous this past year. I think the pandemic, I know I hate really talking about the pandemic, but you know, it's a relevant thing. I think it's definitely one of those things where I didn't realize what I was doing until it happened. And then all of a sudden, because I thought I had like my shit together, I was like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden, you know, the pandemic happened. And then I was like, shit, I had no idea what I was doing. But like now, I'm feeling way more confident about what I'm doing, you know, and it's really nice. It's really nice, actually. And I'm really grateful for everything happening at the moment, you know, especially with Hexagon, all those labels. And thank you so much. I really appreciate that, dude. It's just every week right now.
Just to say recently, so some of the places you've released recently, you've released on Martin Garrix's label Stamp. You've had a couple of singles on Hexagon. You had a release on Spinning. You had a song on Future House Music before. So like you've been a bit of everywhere. But like these are labels especially as well where you would be getting played out in loads of sets, like in festivals at the moment. But again, back to the pandemic, like it's not happening at the moment. So how are you finding that side of it?
Do you know what? It's like, it's weird, but I've almost taken advantage of it in a sense because what I've done is, even though there's been like no shows, what I've just done is just keep on releasing what I enjoy and just trying to push that side because, like, you know, with records like Money and Shackles that went to #1 on 1001 track lists, like I can only imagine what that would have been like. Maybe they wouldn't have hit #1 if there wasn't a pandemic. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
So I keep that in mind, but also at the same time, I'm just trying to be grateful for it and kind of release those tunes, those almost club tunes when maybe other people haven't. But people like John Summit, Vintage Culture, all of those guys have really benefited from doing that as well. Over, you know, it's crazy for me to think that we haven't heard records like Diplo on My Mind in a club. We haven't heard John Summit Deep End. I feel like those are club records that we've heard and we haven't.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree so much, dude. I can't wait until this is over so I can actually, because I know for a fact, even though that these tunes will be like considered old EDM tunes once the clubs open again, they will be played out for sure. And I'm sure a lot of your records will be played out as well, like especially like here locally because they love that kind of stuff here.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, do you know what? I've always been wanting, well, always, I mean, during this pandemic, the stuff that I've been thinking about when I've been writing these records is like those small rooms at ADE. I know you guys like talking about ADE a lot.
Yeah.
But like, do you know what I mean? There is a certain type of record that goes off at ADE, and you guys will know this. It's all about like, whereas normally normal crowds sing the lyrics, we sing the fucking melody.
Exactly. Yeah, you could just hear everybody in the crowd just going bum bum or some shit. It's so fucking funny. Nobody sings the lyrics. Yeah,
like Ellis, when he played that show, the Rude Lies one at ADE last year, I remember everyone on Need You Now.
Yeah, exactly. It was the same. I think it was the first gig that I ever went to on ADE. Same for Tom, actually, when we went to see Ozrin at Stamped and he played one of Ellis's tunes, and you just went mad for that as well.
Awesome. Bro, it was sick because it was the first time we all like everyone in our group met, and we were just going mad because we knew the music. But,
we seriously underestimated the fact that we were going to be there until 5 a.m. as well, because we were done after that first gig. We fell asleep on the couch outside of like all the like stages and shit. We were in the couch and we all just fell asleep in each other's laps. It was fucking hilarious. Yeah, man.
Me and my manager somehow found a closing time at McDonald's. I didn't know that existed. What? Yeah, they were like, yo, we're closing. I'm like, you're McDonald's. How are you closed? Let's go straight to breakfast. And they were like, nah, man, we're done.
That was the problem of the whole of ADE. Like you'd get out of the club at like 5 or 6 a.m. and then you go to try and find food, and if it wasn't the weekend, nowhere is open.
Yeah, exactly. You could literally only get something to eat at like the Albertine at the Central or some shit.
Yeah, but you still have to wait until 5:30 or something.
Yeah, exactly, because it wasn't open yet. Yeah, man.
100%. Good times.
Mm-hmm.
What's your ADE been like before then? Have you played anywhere before during ADE?
I've been like slated to, and then I turn up, and then they're like, nah, not enough people and shit like that. And I'm like, whatever, like it's cool. So we went into like a green room, and like Kirby was there, and a few other mates of mine, Ray as well. Like I met her.
Oh shit.
She loves him, man. Like it's really cute, actually. Like I have people during ADE being like, because they know. I don't know if you guys know, but I've known Toby since we were 15, 16.
I did not know that, actually.
I didn't know that either. No.
That's really cool.
Toby played at my 18th birthday. So that was the first summer he was like getting a lot of traction, and he was big. He just played open for Solveig in Ibiza and things like that.
That's so sick, actually. Damn, I had no idea.
Mate, I mean, this is the thing, and I kind of get around the whole kind of dance community. It's funny. Like I've heard my name brought up several times on this podcast, but yeah, I've got a lot of connections. But yeah, dude. Anyway, back to the Ray thing, man. Like a lot of people were like, "Yo, dude, you know Toby? Like, is he doing it just for shows in Asia and shit like that?" And I was like, "Yo, I saw those two together at ADE, and telling you what, man, I think those two are really in love, and it's really nice. It's actually really. I've never seen like an EDM couple like that. I think like Sydney Sampson, dating." Yeah, but mate, they're really nice together, actually. But so I've done a few of those. The main thing I do at AD is a lot of sessions, a lot of writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
So a lot of writing with Warner. So I've done 2 of those. And even at ADE, it was virtual this year. We did a combined spinning and Warner writing camp virtually online on Zoom, which was awesome.
That's dope. It's really good.
How did these sessions go for you? Because we talked about this with Ewan before. Magnus,
he was there.
I think he's been in quite a few of the same sessions as you as such. But talk us through how these sessions work. Like what sort of thing you're doing in them.
It's awesome. So essentially, what happens is at the start of the day, 9 a.m., you come in and it's a Zoom call of like 60 people, and you start to see names and faces you recognize, and it's a bit like, oh my god, you see like Karen Harden, you see Firebeats, you see Watermat, you see whoever, loads of awesome names, and you're like, wow, okay, like legit, this is heating up in here. And then it's a bit of a suspenseful moment. You're kind of like, oh, who am I going to get put with, and all of this stuff. So you then get split into different rooms, kind of like I guess like we're on Discord, like different Discord channels essentially. So then you go from there, and you just normally they'll brief you beforehand if it's a certain camp. So they'll go, oh, hey guys, there's a small Netflix trailer, budget's around 60 to 80K for it. If you want to do that, if you want to write a sports tune, if you want to write a tune for the spinning artists, here's a load of tunes that we're really liking, and can you fit something to that? And then, or just write something for the artist in your room. Normally they will try and get an artist in the room so you can have some kind of inspiration going into it, because these are new writers, might not know what you're writing for, and so they'll really go, hey, look, this is what we're going to be doing.
That's really cool, dude. That's honestly like a small dream of mine. It's really cool to see that you're actually doing that, because I make music for the sake of making music, because I love making music. This whole thing, like making a career around of it, is kind of just the fact that it's possible. It's just a bonus for me, And I feel like that's part of the dream. Like, I don't care if the music is put under my brand at all. Like, I don't mind it. And just being able to sit in a room with all these like talented people and just make music, that is the dream for me, honestly. And it's really cool to see that you're able to do that, man.
Thank you, man. I mean, it's crazy. Some of these, like, you wouldn't believe the budgets on them, and you're just like, whoa, okay. But I've done a sports tune that will come out. We're signing it now. But we did it, and Warner Chappell in America's picked it up.
Okay, nice.
Which is amazing. They're going to pitch it out to all sorts, like ESPN. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but screw it. Let's go for it. It doesn't matter too much. So we've done this sports tune, and it's with Chris Kiss.
Oh, nice.
That's
nice.
So you can imagine, it's like, it's proper inspired by Kanye and Black Keys, people like that with the big triplet drums and riffs and horns. And it's just Chris Kiss spitting on the mic going, I'm unstoppable, I'm unbreakable, I'm unshakable. It's awesome, man. I love that tune. And it's not going to be a Malarkey tune. It's definitely a song for him, and it's a song for Sync. And that's what you have to kind of have to detach yourself a little bit away from it and be like, you have to do what's best for the song there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really good fun, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, the reason why I love that concept so much is like because of the fact that you detach yourself like as an artist from the project. It makes you kind of just want to make as good of a song as possible and literally just focus on that. And you don't want to try and take credit or anything like that. You literally just want to make a product that is as good as it can be. You know, it's so cool. I love that.
One of the big things we learned was actually trying to not use like people's names. So in one of the verses, we had like Tom Brady and things like, "Oh, I'm going to do a film like Martin Scorsese," and they were like, "We'd advise you not to be using names in case like the people don't like using like the brands attached don't like using names." But
oh really? Oh
what?
Yeah, that makes sense. To be fair,
yeah,
that does make sense.
Because
you'd never think about that normally, though, would you? With a like if you were doing your own tune for your own brand, you'd just be like, whatever. So
yeah, of course. But maybe they're like, "Oh, we don't actually like Tom Brady. Like, could you take that loan out?" Or you know, it's a netball video and you're doing Tom Brady. It doesn't make as much sense. Maybe you're talking about. So it's things like that. But there's a lot of money in that Sync side as well that I'm learning. Like I remember when I was 18, I got offered 10 grand for an Adidas YouTube video.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So
for an instrumental track.
Yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. It was just a track I did called Arcade Brain. I don't know if you guys remember that one. That was like way back in the day.
Was that on what was it, Illicit or something? Was it Illicit?
It was on Tipsy Records.
Tipsy, yeah,
that's right.
I remember you did some stuff with Fated, didn't you? And Tipsy and all them
Records.
back in the day. Because you did more of that sort of future funk thing, but you kind of moved towards more of the UK house stuff now, I'd say.
Yeah, man. I just heard Ellis do his stuff, and I was like, "Yo, you're doing it better, man. I'll leave you to it." He's so good.
He's shifted more to sort of, it's still funk, but I wouldn't call it future funk or whatever they call it now.
He's got his completely own sound now, and I love it. It's kind of like that French house blend now, almost. Like Lemaitre, that kind of stuff, which is really cool. I love that stuff. Yeah, I mean, he's just such a smart, I can't say enough good things about Ellis. I mean, he is one of the best producers ever that I've come across or worked with, and I've had the pleasure of doing quite a few sessions with him. Of course, I wrote Save a Word with him and Tom Westy.
Yeah.
Was, like done over a 2-day period. Just
that's a throwback.
That was one of my favorite tunes back in the day, actually.
Hey, awesome! So thank you. No, that was all done at his place. You know, we just wrote it in an evening, and Daniel J. Lee was in there. It's funny, like you guys know Dan, of course, from yes, and NC. Dan was like on the toilet, but like he's got a toilet in. This is a weird way to start the story, but yeah, I mean, so Ellis had a toilet in his studio, just right at the back, and so Dan's on the toilet, and Ellis is playing that drop, and I start singing the over the drop, and I just hear from the toilet Dan go, "Oh yes, that's it."
Yes,
that's how it came about.
Yeah,
that's
he was
too
like,
fucking good.
I was like, Dad just was like approving at that point, and then they got. That's how the meme "Fuck You, Tom Westy" came about, which was a classic.
Yes, yeah, I remember that.
They were like, "Oh, you should do each note individually." I still don't know if they were taking the piss or something, but they were like, "Sam, do each note, go and we'll make it into a vocal chop." And the lads kept on like filming it and like taking the piss, and I was like, "Yo, I'm done out here. I can't even be dealing with you lot." Even laughing at my shit. Like, I'm trying to fucking sing it because you suggested it like that. It's not my fault, but it sounds stupid. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So funny.
That is too good, man. Oh yeah. Sorry, I was meaning to ask when we were talking about the publishing and the writing and all that, but it's kind of safe to say that you're doing this music thing full time now, then, innit?
Yeah. Well, I've got so many little side hustles that I don't even talk about publicly. Like I've got my own promotion company as well.
Oh shit! Really? I had no idea.
Yeah. So I do promo for. I've promoted a few records like on Suave, Hexagon. I've done a Loud Cult tune. I've got a big artist on Ultra. I'm going to be promoting. I promoted Set You Free, the Gus record, which was like the biggest dance record of the year so far in terms of Beatport and 1001. But yeah, after the 1001 stuff, basically what happened was people were coming to me and being like, yo, who promoted Money? Who promoted Shackles? And I was like, I promoted those records. And they were like, yo, if we chuck you some money, would you do it for us? And I'm like, well, I haven't got any gigs, so this is going to fill my time, promoting. So I've been doing a lot of promotion, and then I've been doing a lot of writing for other people whenever I find the time. I was doing, at the start of pandemic, I was doing ghost production for a known label, but that went kind of like, it was too much. They wanted me to do a track a week.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah. Dude, when I do ghost productions, I do like a track a month, because I don't know, I find them so exhausting to do, I don't know what it is about ghost production. Yeah.
Like the money was amazing. The money was like, like it was hard to turn down. And then when I told my parents I wasn't going to do it, they were a bit like, what are you doing, man? Like, this is like you're basically just throwing away like a paycheck each week. And I was like, I will find something else to do. So that's also the motivator to get me to do the promotion for other people. And it's really nice actually having artists as the clients as well. Like I've got Mick Mizzou, so I help Mick out, and just seeing how much Mick is growing on that side. And like we just got his new record, like Diplo gave us feedback on it, Sirius XM played it out. And so I'm promoting to all these massive people as well. And it's really nice to see the responses come in for, and just keep on building as well. Like that's what I'm trying to do with promoting these tunes.
So I kind of want to. So when I give rates to people for my services, I kind of do it like I have like a baseline that I like to like go from, but it's mostly like done individually. So when like, do you have set rates for like people that you provide your services to, or are you
trying to get him some ghost production work?
Try to get what? Do you think what? No. What are you talking about? What is this? But do you understand the question? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so essentially for me, for the radio mail outs, I kind of have set rates. I just do artists and labels differently. I just charge a little more for the labels because, labels at the end of the day, I feel like for the artists, it's actually an artist coming to me and I appreciate that a little more. I don't want to be like taking more out of the artist side. If a label wants to put extra promo and prioritize a record, then that's down to them. And, we can look at getting the Radio 1 plays. We can look at getting Diplo or whoever or Sirius XM on board with a record. But for me, like if it's an artist, I have a little more sympathy because I'm like, yo, like this is an artist who's taking the initiative to come to me and ask about promoting their record and giving it that priority. And the reason I started doing the promotion is not because labels do a bad job, but I want to be a priority record. I want to be, the reason why people are like, yo, we need to prioritize that. And you guys will know with labels, it's really hard to become a priority record unless you're doing millions of streams or you're like, you get to the level of an Unknown Brain where you've done like 20 songs on a label.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. Like if you can't promote it yourself, it's a lot about just being lucky with a record and then they will start push you. But if there's a bunch of like promo behind the whole song, and the song can push itself, the label usually sees like an incentive to push it even further because there's more money to be made out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like a lot of people, I think me and Sam actually talked about this the other week on Facebook, but like this is a lot of people just sit back and think that the label will just do all the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think after a while you either just carry on with that and just stay at the same level and just carry on releasing happily with those levels of labels, or you realize that you've got to step up and do something yourself to make it bigger. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, like especially they get to the point where they realize, oh shit, I've got to like brand it in a certain way, and I've got to push it to all these places. I've got to do that myself as well. And then ultimately, when you go back to the label for more stuff on newer tunes, you can ask them for more as well because they'll be like, he's done this, he's done that. So
yeah,
it's refreshing to see other people really like pushing for that. I want to loop this back around because you were just saying about Radio 1 plays. So your track actually got played on BBC Radio 1 earlier today, didn't it?
Yeah, man, that was insane. Yeah, I was in the car.
So sick.
I was in the car and it came on, and it was mental. I've got a little video I did on. I haven't posted it on Instagram yet because I literally came in from doing that. I had to walk the dog and then I came back straight to doing this. So I haven't posted it, but like my phone was blowing up. Like my uncle was like, "Oh, that was amazing!" Like other people were like, "Did I just hear on Radio 1 that they were playing Malarkey Risk It All?" And I was like, "Yeah, man."
That is so fucking dope.
It's amazing. I've never been in the car when that's happened. I've heard like ghost productions of mine as well, and like I've put it on BBC Sounds, but I haven't heard it on the car and been able to be like BBC Radio 1, like daytime play. Like, that's insane, and it was really nice because I knew it was going to happen. I posted it on my Insta and Facebook because I got a text from, well, not a text, an email from Sarah who does she's the producer of that show, and she was like, "Yo, hey Sam, your tune's going to be on today, so make sure you tuned in from 3 p.m." And I was like, "What?" Yeah, epic. It's so cool. I'm really grateful for that.
So that track in general, your new track Risk It All, is doing bits in general. Like what's happened there exactly?
Oh mate, it's do you know what the nice thing with that one is? Like it's essentially an independent release. It's just through our management. So it's through Forecast, which is owned by Bollier, and it's owned by my manager. So it's essentially an independent release. But on the first day, we got Housework, Happy Beats on Spotify. We got into the House Music 2021 playlist from Warner, which is a big playlist. Yeah, that's a big one, man. And it did like 20K in one day, and we were like, okay, decent. Like, and Tiesto's played it, Oliver Heldens played it, Don played it, Sam Felt played it. Of course, Radio 1 now. So and it's been on a lot of different radio bits. It's just been doing the rounds, and I'm really grateful because I thought it was going to be one of those releases which doesn't do a lot. Like I was like, to pass the time until my next Hexagon one. But it's a really one of those tunes where it's actually quite a special one in terms of when I did that piano melody, because I wrote a lot of the tune and then Redondo came on board and finished up the rest of it, essentially just added the additional production, which was awesome. And I'm just really grateful because I thought that was a bit of a special record, and I'm just excited to see where it goes because we're hoping it just keeps on moving at this rate and we can look at all of the things we have and then take it to that next level with maybe upstreaming it or something like that.
Yeah. So why did you decide to like independently as such release that one? Were you struggling to sign it, or you just decided it was just kind of like a filler track as such until your next Hexagon release, as you were saying?
Do you know what we were like? We sent it to Defected. Defected are so hard to get on.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, not sure, like because Frake from Redondo also has his side project Gus, and Gus just had the Thin Line tune with John Summit on there, and they were like, it's just not for us where we're going at the moment, and that was cool. We showed it to Warner Main, and Warner were like, it's cool, but like, mate, they sit on records like those majors like you wouldn't believe unless there's a trend, and then all of a sudden they're like, right, any record that sounds like this, you're going to pick it up and you're going to sign it now. So we were like, we reckon this record could get big, and the thing with the label deal that we've got at the management is it's attached to ADA. Don't know if you guys know what ADA is.
No.
That's the distribution arm of Warner.
Okay.
So it's the equivalent of the Orchard at Sony. So we were like, yo, we can still maybe, attach this later down the line and get it picked up by a major. Like, so essentially Warner might have first dibs on it if they want it, which was great. And so that was the thinking behind it. We were kind of like, yo, there's still that kind of major attachment to it, possibly. I mean, it's a bigger risk, not to sound cliche with the tune's title, but yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where we jumped in and we were like, yeah, it seems smart because we really like spinning as well. Like that would have been an option, but I think this was there's no risk, reward without a bit of risk as well.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no, exactly. Again, no pun intended there again, but but we were kind of like, we believed in the tune a lot, and so that's why we did it. And
yeah, that's sick to see then. So like with all this stuff, what are you aiming towards then at the moment? Are you aiming, as you were saying, to try and get most of your stuff on a major, or to work with like spinning more, or what's your main aim?
Well, God, I don't know how much I can talk about things, because I'm in a really like funny kind of like, I was having calls about this week with the label you just said. There's offers on the table, like there's things going forward, but I've written on these camps that we were talking about earlier. I've done some records that I think are going to be like really good potential. The labels here, we're currently in the process of getting 1 or 2 samples cleared, and then we'll see where we go from there. If you're talking about me as an artist overall, like the thing that I want to do is get into the top 100 producers this year, like no doubt.
Ooh, that's a big goal, but I rate that.
Yeah, I genuinely like hearing and like all the things that I've seen from you just this past year. I think it's entirely possible, man. I have no doubts in you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's one of those things. I'm trying to keep count of how many DJs have supported me already, and it's only 4 months into the year, but I've had about 200 DJs.
That is so sick, dude. That is so sick. Just to an equivalent, I think it was about 300-ish to get into the top 100 last year, and that was like the low. By February, so for the first 2 months of the year, someone calculated that I was the most played DJ in the world for the first 2 months of the year.
Really?
Damn.
What song was it then that pushed you forward? Was it Money?
Shackles. It would be Shackles and Money, because Shackles dropped in January, then hit number 1 around late January, early Feb, and then Money was still going strong, and it was those two. And so for the first 2 months of the year, I was like, someone put it on Twitter that I was the most played DJ, because Retrovision pointed it out to me. I had no idea. He was like, Sam, did you see what we're tagged in? Because I think Matt was 3rd.
Yeah.
I was 1st, and I was like, insane. I was like, yeah, I can understand it statistically, because Shackles for the first 2 months was like the biggest track of the year on 1001. And then it took a while for the Spotify to catch up, etc. But we're in Happy Beats now, and it's done 250,000 in a month, which was insane. So everything's just going at a really rapid pace, and it's not what I was expecting. And this is what I mean. At the start of March last year, none of this was planned. You guys need to understand that. I was thinking of canning this project, the Malarkey project. I was thinking
really?
Yeah, I was thinking it was done. I was thinking I was just going to make drum and bass and do shows and look at going that route and pushing forward. But like, I'm so happy that this happened. So it can open my eyes.
Well, at what point did you just feel like, you know what, I'm actually gonna try this and just do it like 100%?
I'll tell you what it was. It was the
Malarkey.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it was. It was the Beatport number 1 on Future House, on the genre of Future House. I was like, I got 5 on it. I was like, that's significant, and I don't know why, but I was like, that means more to me than a playlist. That means more. I was like, that's something that is really hard to do. To get to number 1 on a Beatport genre. I was like, okay. Especially we crossed over like Oliver Heldens, and I think Heldens had just released for Goat at that point as well. So I was like, we've just overtaken like a massive record in that. And so that was the thing that actually made me go, hey, there might be a little bit more in this than we first anticipated.
And there was a lot more than you anticipated.
It's just with you speaking about this stuff, what I'd say is you focus always more on getting the DJ support, and then the streams are secondary, because a lot of producers just solely focus on streams, and that's they think that's where everything is. Like, if you've got streams on Spotify, that's it, and that really is not true. Like, I think Slap House has especially shown that that's not true.
Well, especially now during the whole pandemic, because people don't think that 1001 track list and getting DJ support in that is relevant at all because the money's in the streams right now. But the thing is, if you get these like feats, you will be promoted and like you will be put in this playlist, and it will be a response to like all this like promotion that you've been like doing and like all these.
Yeah, because as you were saying, your Spotify is catching up as such, but it's like when you bounce back, I guess you bounce back 10 times stronger after getting all this promo from like these DJ sets and stuff. So it's like it's a different way of thinking about it, but from what you're saying, it works very well.
Yeah, and but you can't expect it overnight. I think it's like it took us months actually, and even Money never got he never got an editorial. Never got an editorial, and it was like, so that was one of those things where I was like, look, we'll just go again. We'll just keep on pushing until they hear us. And it's just the repitching thing. And it's a label thing more than an artist thing. But and it makes me sad because I was kind of like, yo, people are paying to get on playlists and streams. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that. I was like, that seems a bit forced. And then I was looking at options. I'm like, what can I do? And the DJ support. And I was like, because if you can go back to a DSP and be like, here's significant things that have happened with a record, this is why you need to promote it. And as artists, we need to be going to the labels and telling them this because they don't, we assume that they know that this stuff's happening. And we assume that they're going to do it as well. We can't assume shit.
There has to be like communication. There's so many times like I'm actually like someone who does this as well, where I'm just sitting like in a call with the boys and saying like, this song should have been pushed more, or like, oh, I'm surprised this song is doing so well, and like, why is it doing so well? And then there's no communication with the label. I don't tell them anything, and they don't tell me anything either, you know. And that's on me. I know that is like I'm really bad with like executive disorder and shit like that. So I never do any of these things while I know that I need to do them, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's nothing bad about it. I mean, it's just one of those things where I think it's way worthwhile. And also getting the publishing deal with Warner made me do it as well because of the radio play on the money side of things. I think that's why I pushed even harder on that stuff, because I was like, I need to be getting on radio so then I can have the money back. Because guys, like you tell me how much money you think that there is in like the streaming side. Like, yeah, there's a bit if you're releasing on NCS, but some of these labels will put thousands behind the master. You know?
Yeah, well,
I understand it.
From my understanding, the money is in licensing and all that, mostly like sync and all that, and then
but if
streams and shows kind of come behind that. Yeah. If you
push hard enough on radio, and this is the thing, this is another thing that triggered it, because when I was in pandemic, I got a really nice paycheck for a record I did 2 years ago, which was on national radio almost every day in Belgium.
Whoa!
Nice paycheck from that, and that was during lockdown. And I was like, "Hey, look, radio. This is money from radio. This is like," and I could see, it was like, you know, a good amount of money. And I was like, if I keep on pushing on radio, like this is going to be money that's just going to come in, and it's going to be great. So that was the thought process as well.
How do you go about doing that when you pitch to like radio stations and all that? What's your process for that?
So I'm not really pitching to radio stations. It's more I'm pitching to specialist people. I'm pitching to people like Dominic Kuizelmeyer at Energy in Belgium, Helmo at Energy in Germany. People like that. So people who are going to be on Slam, Oliver Heldens, people like that. Radio 1. I just say to the DJs, I send out, you know, BCC. Always make sure you do that. I send out the tune. I say, hey, look, this is essentially what the tune is. If it's been supported by anyone already, the kind of vibe of it briefly. I put the link to the download. I normally do MP3 because like some people want WAV, but a lot of these DJs are just going to be chucking. Like if they're doing weekly shows, they don't want to be having a load of like because WAVs can take up a lot of space.
You should do FLAC.
Some of these. Yeah, I mean, so, and then one of the important things that I do that a lot of people I've never seen do, but I think it's really important, I put the key in the BPM.
Yeah.
I put the key in the BPM, and then they can mix them in key. And I've noticed people do that as well, where they'll actually work the songs into key, because some people like mixing in key, some people don't care about it.
Yeah, me and Tom are arguing about that all the time, because he likes to do mixing in key, and I just do element mixing whenever I mix.
Sounds so much nicer if you mix in key.
If you do both, it sounds really good, but that's more difficult. And I just go for vibes when I mix. So,
boys, what would Layback Luke say?
Well, Layback Luke would say element mixing.
He would indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a very big believer in that, isn't he?
Yeah. And then I would also leave 30 minutes in because I'd get annoyed that nothing's matching up.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. That's from you as a producer. If you would just be like a normal, like everyday listener, you wouldn't mind that too much. Like you would know that it sounds better, but you wouldn't really know why. But just the fact that it's in key and you know that it's in key, it sounds so much better. It
gets tight. I don't know if you have this, but when like I listen to a set which isn't mixed in key, it's almost tiring to listen to because it sounds unnatural. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas most people wouldn't care, but like I don't know. So yeah, I want to talk about the bad cult stuff as well.
Yeah, we haven't touched upon that much.
Malarkey side of it.
Yeah.
You haven't been very active on that recently, but that was you were mainly releasing with NCS when you were doing that before, weren't you?
I had to deal with Sony.
Did you ever deal with Sony? Because you did. I think I saw. So you did some stuff on Tipsy, and then there was some tracks with NCS, and then did you move on to Sony after, or was it?
Yeah. So it started when I did a remix of Ed Sheeran, and that blew up overnight. That was like 1 million in a day, like kind of levels. Yeah. Like I know you guys were doing them back in the day, but this was like before that, you know.
Yeah.
Proximity, House Nation, and Mr. Revels all uploaded it in the same day.
Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that was insane. And I was like, I need to do a project out of this. So then that was the first thing I did. And then a month later, I just deleted the Ed Sheeran tune. I kept the drums, and then I sent it over to my mate Will Hegadin. I was like, write something over this that I just produced for tune. And that was Made of Something. We released that on NCS. That was a really fun one to do. And then we've just kind of gone from there, really. I did a few on Tipsy, and then we signed alongside Tipsy. We did a deal with Sony for a few songs, which was it was like being a real pop star for a bit.
That's so cool. I remember talking to you about drum and bass on Facebook like a long while back, like years ago, when I was just getting into like producing drum and bass. I've been making a lot of drum and bass since then as well.
Epic.
Yeah, bro. And I think I'm gonna I haven't yet decided, and I would like your opinion on it because I've been asking a lot of people about it, and since you're here, you know. So Tom is on the other side of this like conversation. He wants me to just release all this stuff under Jonth and don't mind trying to make like a different alias or anything like that. But I personally feel like if I create a second alias and I know what I need to do, like branding wise, I could just get everything right from the beginning and just pitch the whole project to like a record label, or like pitch EPs to different record labels who are like under the.
So can I just add my input? I was with you on that to begin with, but I've seen you delay pushing that stuff out, and I'm just saying you should.
But it's because I can't fucking decide because you're telling me to do one thing, and then like
no. So I was with you on that to begin with, but because you left it now, and I've kind of got to the point now where I'm like, oh, like I don't have the time to put anything onto another project as well as such. Like I wouldn't have time to do that. I'm just thinking like you're better off just getting it out there under Jonth, because it sounds like Jonth music still. You know what I mean?
It does, yeah.
So, yeah.
So what's your opinion on that?
Do another alias.
Really? Okay.
Drum and bass community are not the house. They're not the trap. They're not that stuff. It's so different, but it's like it's such a different community, and that's something I only realized going into it. Really, it's just so different. But they'd kind of slate the stuff that you're doing as Jonth, not in a bad way. It's just how it goes. Like they love the D&B stuff, and they'd probably love what you were doing D&B wise, but like when they'd suddenly hear the house stuff. Like, and I speak to a lot of drum and bass guys about this, people like Danny Bird, etc. And they were like, you know, when I was going to move 100% to drum and bass with Bad Cult, they were like, oh, you're not going to be doing like other genres, are you? And I was like, No, well, probably not. And he was like, yeah, no, it's probably best just to do drum and bass. And I was like, yeah, I get you. Even the most, I'd say if you were going to do like an Alias, I'd say put drum and bass and then like UK bass line.
Okay,
bass.
so the thing with the drum and bass that I'm doing right now, it's more, it's not this like classic UK kind of drum and bass. So it's more like, do you know what the US style of drum and bass sounds like? It's more like dubstep, rhythmy, that kind of. It's more inspired by that sound.
Is it like jump uppy kind of stuff?
Yeah, more jump up, neurofunk, a lot of like neurofunk and all that. That's what I'm doing. So it's not
right, cool.
Yeah, it's not like jungle or anything like that. So that's what I was kind of thinking. Like hypothetically, like if I were to do this, and I would just pitch the whole project to like Bass Rush or something, which is US based. So I was kind of thinking like maybe there's a way to try and get like a UK like listening base as well as US. So I try and get like at least 2 continents in there, like with Europe and the US,
like Crewcast or something like that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
UK, really great UK. Mate, why don't you have your cake and eat it too? And I'm going to tell you how you're going to do this.
Yeah, okay.
Why don't you like Tiesto will do like a Tiesto record, but then he does a Verwost record, and then he'll just put his Tiesto name on it as well. You could brand the whole thing, but then it comes back to Jonth.
That's smart. So I essentially do a collab with myself.
Yeah, but it says each time, like on the Silk City stuff, like, you know, it's Diplo and Mark Ronson, they tag themselves as primary artists still, and it gets their, you know, Spotify name. So it goes to all the people who might care about them as an artist, and you go, you might not have to even make a second social for it because you're still doing it, and you're just like, you know, kind of like how Oliver Heldens still posts high-low stuff. I mean, he posts a lot of that on Oliver Heldens, and I think now he started tagging Oliver Heldens as well as high-low each time he does a release.
That's actually kind of genius. Why haven't I thought of that? That is super smart. Yeah. Bro. I'm gonna take that into account for sure, bro. But now I gotta go back to thinking about like branding and all that. But because that's like one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do this. Like it started off with me trying to just make a new project. I didn't care about what genre it was going to be, but I wanted to do something and just do everything right from the beginning, you know? Because all of the stuff that I'd learned under like Jonth, I'm kind of assuming that you've learned a lot of things yourself on the way to where you are right now. So you kind of get what I mean. Just imagine being able to do everything right from the beginning, you know?
Yeah. I mean, especially going back to the Sony deal, like that was a whole experience that maybe you guys will one day like feel that. I mean, working with a major on that level is like, you know, because I was getting flown out to do promo tours and music video with the guys who then went on to make Bad Boys 3, which was insane.
Ooh.
So they were texting Will Smith while we were filming it, and it was like, okay, guys, you're obviously busy. You're obviously like you obviously shouldn't be here. Like you're obviously, you know, and then so it's a crazy experience, and I've learned a lot doing that. You're right, man. But I get you on wanting to do it right. But I mean, I jumped into Bad Cult with no brand, no nothing behind it. I just jumped in at the deep end and just went for it, and it worked out all right. Because you can learn that stuff along the way as well, I think.
For sure.
If I were you and you were going to do a project like that, and it still sounds like you, I'd just do the Spotify tag thing. I'd just go, oh yeah, it's whatever name, Jonth, as for apostrophe. I'm amazed actually. I think Matt should be doing this with New Eyes as well.
I agree actually. It was interesting because that was the last episode we had, you as you saw, and you got the shout out then as well. We keep shouting out on these episodes.
We could make it onto his Instagram.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, my Instagram isn't much to make it onto. Like, if you just tag me in something, I'll probably post it up on there.
Do you know what? We'll take anything.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all. Yeah, man. But I'm really happy making the music I am right now. I don't think I've been happier making the tunes that I am right now, working with the people that I am. So I've got like, you know, coming up, I've got Hexagon 1 in 2 weeks. I've got a tune coming up on Spinning, and then a tune coming up on Stamped. Like, you know, all of these, Yeah, so it's just coming at the same level for the next few months.
You're getting everywhere you need to be at the moment.
Yeah, and
the quantity of music you're pumping out is so impressive as well. From my point of view,
and you just do it right every time as well.
Yeah, I had this conversation with you before on Facebook as well, where I was like, yeah, I'm trying to do less releases and release like every 3 months because I want to keep the quality high. You're keeping the quality high and releasing every couple of weeks. And it's like, how do you do that?
That is really impressive. And just the music itself as well. It's super defined. Like, because I remember before, I kind of had like a long time ago, I kind of had like a difficulty trying to figure out what your sound was specifically.
Yeah.
But right now, as of late, when I've been listening to your tunes, it sounds really defined. And I can actually hear that it's like so you whenever you release something. And that is super dope to hear, bro.
Yeah, I mean, these things take time. I mean, I've never worried too much about finding a certain sound. Like maybe back in the day, like in 2018, I was a bit more like that. But then I feel like it's got to come naturally from you as well.
Yes.
So it was one of those things where even the stuff that I was releasing maybe back in March doesn't fully match the stuff that I'm doing now, but actually you see the elements and you see it grow, and that's what music should be doing. And even over the months, you start to see it grow. And so, I really like I've got 2 sounds that I just really love at the moment. It is the piano-driven stuff, which is like a lot of the stuff that people really dig in. But then also I've got the stuff like Daylight and Miss Me on Stamped, which way more like creative left field kind of different like really different.
Daylight's still my favorite.
Yeah, you're completely sold on that too. We like to sit in the Discord in the booth and you just turns it on like every once in a while.
It's such a good tune.
Yeah,
like,
I really enjoy that song as well.
I wrote the top line for that in Amsterdam in 2019, March 2019, and just had nothing with it. I was like it was a bit of a dead one. Like the original song was at 110. Even the guy who was writing, he was like, "Oh, I've got writer's block. I don't want to write this tune." Man, like shout out Highland, but man. So like during the pandemic, I was like, I'm going to revisit all these songs that I've written and see if there's good stuff there. So I then made basically the structure of Daylight. And I did like the dun 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 dun, dun. And then I was like, Mick, do you want to come in and just change the drop and see what you can do with it, man? And because I was like, it's a tune that I've got floating about now. And he came in, just smashed it out of the park, man. What a hell of a when that sound design. It took some like finessing, but like bloody hell, man, he's such a good producer. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
So this leads nicely on to the whole Music Friday section, which we didn't ask Sam to prepare.
But I'm sure you've been listening to some music.
No.
lately, so.
I know. I already know that you guys do this.
Let's go. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you want to kick it off then? What's your track for this week?
Mate, I'd love to. I've actually got a few, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I'll probably do like runners up, but like I just want to shout out James Bluck because he had his first release ever. Like he's done a lot of remixes for big people in the past, and he's finally he's been remixing since 2016 for Universal and Spinning and all sorts, and now he's actually just had his first original. So shout out James. Shout out Shift Key, Love Line. That's a bit of a banger. Good Night, Sleepwalkers. You guys need to check that out. Like really well produced poppy dance tune with JB Cooper, my boy's Punctual production. But my tune of a Friday definitely has to go to Collide, Tom Westy, Adrian Firela. It's just come out on Generation Hex. I helped get it signed. I sent it over to Ricardo, and it's just really fucking good future house record. It's like the Brooks stuff, but if someone was like actually found an original angle for the Brooks stuff.
Yeah. Isn't that very similar to the remix he did before? Didn't he just
Yeah.
I think I heard it earlier, but I love that remix anyway. I love that style.
Combo of Sweet But Psycho plus his Let Me Love You remix.
Yes. I love that sound though.
That signature synth sound he has is sick in those. It's so good.
It's cool that he's revisiting that sound as well.
Well, I think that's going to be the last hurrah for that sound, I think.
Okay.
Just speaking to him, I think he wanted to do one last one for the fans like that, because he knew that he got like a lot of people asking all the time for it. But he's doing some really exciting music. I don't know if you heard his Electronic Nature one.
Oh yeah, I did hear that.
I haven't heard it. I gotta go check that out.
That's Jonas Blues label, isn't it?
Yeah, Jonas is really backing him, and I co-wrote that song with him. I actually wrote the vocal and I gave it to him. So see, all of these vocals, man, I'm just giving to people. I'm using myself. I really don't mind. I'm just kind of trying to be out there as much as possible. So yeah. Anyway, like that sums up my Music Friday. What about you guys? What are you saying?
So I found this song just today. I think it got released just today. Actually, it's by this Jagsy and some other irrelevant guy. Anyway, so Tom and Jagsy actually, and I'm genuinely saying this because I really love this song as well. It's not just to shout you out because you did it to me last week, but it's, up all night. It's such a banger. And I've been waiting for you guys to drop that for so long now as well. I'm so happy you finally did it as well. Such a tune, man. I love the guitar on that.
Cheers, man. Yeah, that's what's his name? Tom Platts. Shout out to that guy. He's an absolute legend. He recorded the guitar on that. He actually does all the guitar for Diamond Eyes at the moment as well. But he goes to my university, and I had no idea, and I just for a mutual friend I found out. And he's a sick guitarist. So yeah, shout out to him for that. Really my tune of the week is the new Snavs song on Monster Cat. I think I said this about Snavs the other week, but his stuff's always top quality. It's called You and Me. So yeah,
absolutely. I just can't get enough of his sound. Snavs, man. Honestly, every time I drop something,
you guys all had really cool songs. Like mine was just like, I looked at New Music Friday in the UK, and I was like, okay, what's coming? That was Tom Westy.
No, cool. Man, it was fucking good, man. You got to send me these songs. You could drop the links for them in the chat afterwards.
Yeah,
I got to listen to it, man.
I will do, man.
Awesome. But Sam, do you have anything to promo or anything? Go for it now. Go on. This is your moment.
Out today is for JLV Remix and Money.
Awesome.
Which is nice. I'm really appreciative that Joel did that. It was really cool because we were looking for a remix of it because it did so well on 1001, but never got the love on Spotify. But now we're on Spotify editorial already for that tune. It just goes to show, man, the difference. Like your name, once you're in with those editorials, is crazy. You will just guaranteed get it. So we've got that, and then 2 weeks coming up, I've got my most religious tune to date, my most spiritual anthem coming up on Hexagon. It's called Rejoice, and it's it sounds like church in Hexagonia. Like that's all I can say.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's exciting.
Like you guys, I'm really trying to experiment with stuff, and actually the gospel-y soul stuff really works. I've also got a breakdown video coming out with it from Point Blank Music School.
Nice.
Awesome.
They did the Kirby. They did the Kirby one. They've got a Rudimental one coming up. So those guys are awesome, and I did a breakdown video with them. So I'm really excited. I think you guys. I'm just looking to take things to the next level each time now. That's all I got. A promo. There's other stuff coming, obviously, and I hope to announce some big deals coming soon as well.
Yeah. Also, make sure to follow Malarkey on Instagram and on Spotify and on Facebook and all these platforms.
Don't bother with Facebook. Just do Instagram and Spotify. No one uses Facebook. Do Instagram
what do you mean? I want.
No one uses Facebook.
You'll see the same shit on Facebook that you do on Insta. So
yeah, fair enough.
Except on Instagram, everyone's more active. So go and follow him on Instagram. And streamers music on Spotify. But yeah, thank you very much for listening, everyone. This has been a sick episode. I appreciate you coming on, Sam.
Thanks, guys.
So if you have any guests you want to see in future episodes, put them in the comments as always. Any questions you have for future episodes, again, put them in the comments. As always, I've been Tom Wilson. We've got Jonth here and Malarkey /Bagcult/Sam.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, dude. And we'll see you later. Peace.
Later.
Welcome. Cheers, guys.